All right, today we're going to solve x squared minus 16x plus 60 equals 0 by factoring. So we're factoring, so we've got to build some brackets. We have an a value of 1, which means we can put an x as the first value in each of our brackets. Now, let's look at the numbers that we're dealing with this time. Negative 16, positive 60. We need to multiply to this number, add to this number. Now, just as a meta note here, when we're multiplying to an even number and adding to a negative number, right, we know that both of our numbers will have to be negative. And the reason being is two negatives add to a negative and multiply to a positive. So we're looking for two negative numbers. Now let's start listing the factors of 60 and see if we can find the two negative numbers which multiply to 60 and add to 16, or in this case, negative 16. 60 and 1, starting with our first factor pair. That's no good. Those don't add to 16. 30 and 2, no good as well. We need to get much smaller. I'll list them all just for the sake of demonstration, but really we're nowhere close yet. 20 and 3, still nowhere close. 15 and 4 we have. 12 and 5. 10 and 6 is our winner. The reason being, negative 10 plus negative 6 equals negative 16. Negative 10 times negative 6 equals 60. So we're going to put those two negative numbers into our brackets, negative 10 and negative 6. Let's do a quick FOIL check to make sure we got the right numbers. Remember, first, outer, inner, last. First, x times x equals x squared. Outer, x times negative 6 equals negative 6x. Inner, negative 10 times x equals negative 10x. Last, negative 10 times negative 6 equals positive 60. Combine these two like terms for a final expression of x squared minus 16x plus 60, which is the same as in our original equation, right? Just set it equal to 0. We've got the same thing. So we know that our solutions can be found now by using these factors, and what we need to do is zero out the factors. So we need the numbers that, when introduced into these brackets, create a 0. In this case, it's simple. If we put a 10, a positive 10, into this bracket, it zeroes it out. So that's one of our solutions, x equals 10. And if we put a positive 6 into the other bracket, it also zeroes it out. So these are our two solutions, which take the form of x-intercepts on a graph. So let's draw that quickly. We've got one x-intercept at x equals 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 is going to be about there. And then 1 about 4 over at x equals 10. So these are going to be our two x-intercepts. Our y-intercept is, of course, at positive 60, somewhere all the way up here, nowhere near to scale, right? But the graph shape will look something like that. Excuse my terrible drawing. And it goes off the page. Now, if you're curious about the axis of symmetry, we just need to find the midpoint between our two x-intercepts, which in this case is at x equals 8. And that's our solution, and that's our graph. And we're done.